As Congress returns from summer recess, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal is back on the agenda. The Epstein estate plans to hand over the convicted sex offender's birthday book and other documents to Congress on September 8th. The book is reportedly, as you know, filled with well wishes from friends and associates, including an explicit message and drawing by President Trump, which Trump denies he did. But most importantly, lawmakers and the public will get to hear more firsthand accounts from Epstein survivors. The Washington Post reports that House Oversight Chair James Comer and members of his committee will meet privately with some of the survivors on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Epstein survivors, including our next guest, will join Congressman Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie at a press conference on Capitol Hill. Joining us now are those Epstein survivors, Jess Michaels and Teresa Helm. Teresa is also Survivor Services Coordinator at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Thank you both so much for coming on the weekend. Jess, I want to start with you. You will be meeting with at least Ro Khanna on Capitol Hill. Are you hoping that more Republicans add you to their docket, that you meet with Comer? And if you were to meet with some of these Republicans and James Comer, what would you say to them?
I think what we're looking for with all of these meetings is courage on the part of Republican representatives, because this is most importantly a bipartisan issue. This is not something that anyone on any side of the aisle should be for. No one should be for child sex trafficking and allowing perpetrators to escape justice, and no one should be for systems failing to prosecute over decades.
And I want to ask both of you, actually. We are seeing a little bit of movement in Congress. I mean, House Oversight Chairman James Comer, as Eugene noted, is going to be meeting with survivors on Tuesday. I'm not sure if both of you are on his docket. There are also a number of documents that he says he has subpoenaed for and is going to potentially release from the Epstein estate. But one, are you planning on getting on James Comer's schedule? And then two, what would you like to hear from the White House on this? And what does their lack of acknowledging any of this mean to both of you?
Go ahead, Teresa.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. Jess, good to see you here.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, too. I look forward to seeing you in a few days. Yes, I hope to meet with as many people who are willing to listen. I think it's very important for us to finally get at least some kind of FaceTime here on the subject. And what I would really be hopeful that I see from the White House and the administration is support on this, and not willing to, at this point, I feel like we've gone further past the point of survivors being not even at the table or in the discussion. We've gone to the point of being almost even silenced or just entirely bypassed. So I'm hopeful for support is what I'm hopeful for, and the acknowledgement, and to stand with us like we stand with them. We are all in this together. We all want to protect children. We all have the obligation and the responsibility to protect children and people in general. So support would be truly, truly wonderful. We are all, this is just humanity, dignity. This is what this is. This support would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And Jess, I just want to get you on that as well. What are you in talks with James Comer's office?
I won't be in James Comer's office, but I will have other opportunities to be speaking to representatives. But there's something that's also, I think, being missed by a lot of people. The American people are with Epstein survivors.
Yeah.
They are, if you've looked at any of my comments on social media, people are appalled at what's happening. They want justice, not just for us. They understand that this affects them and how justice is going to play out in the future for if this ever happens again. We need systemic change, looking at all the failures that have happened over decades. And we need to have policy change that's going to make sure that none of this happens again. Nothing has changed, as I understand it, since Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced and put in prison. Nothing has changed in any of those policies. We are asking, and we seem to be now, we seem to have become the representative of a lot of sexual assault survivors out there that have never been heard and never been seen. So I do think that the wise thing would be for this administration and anyone meeting with us is to stand with us and support us, because there is not a single person in this country that would ever say, yes, all of this is okay as is.
Jess and Teresa, thank you so much for being here with us today. I'd like to read the statement from the family of Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, who, as you both know, died by suicide. The family was talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell transcripts that were released from Todd Blanche's interview with Maxwell. And in it, they say about that transcript, this travesty of justice entirely invalidates the experiences of the many brave survivors who put their safety, security, and lives on the line to ensure her conviction, including our sister. During Todd Blanche's bizarre interview, she is never challenged about her court-proven lies, providing her a platform to rewrite history. Teresa, what is your reaction to the released transcripts of this interview with a convicted sex trafficker, Maxwell?
Yes, I can very clearly tell you I felt pretty gutted, to be perfectly clear and honest on that. You know, I sat and listened to this woman's calm, articulate voice. And you know what? That is the same calm and articulate voice that led me to believe that I was in a safe environment. And that is the same calm voice that led me to walk myself to Jeffrey's home after meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell that day. I entirely, wholeheartedly agree with Virginia's family. And I was appalled. I'm continued to be appalled at the release and just the entire situation surrounding this interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. It is absolutely, it goes so far beyond throwing salt on wounds or anything like that. It's entirely destructive to survivors such as myself that had gone through personal experience with her, lived experience with Ghislaine Maxwell. And it entirely is devastating to the entire survivor community that if we're going to give this woman a platform and elevate her voice when the only voices that should be continued to be elevated and platformed are the survivors of this case and many other cases. I entirely agree with Jess on this as far as systemic review, reform, because this goes so far beyond, this is such a high profile case, and I get that. And it goes so much, it touches every single solitary soul on this earth, really, because the magnitude of assault and sexual abuse and violence that we have, this touches everyone.
Yeah, and we are still waiting to see whether or not Ghislaine Maxwell will come and testify before Congress in a very public setting where both Republicans and Democrats will be able to ask her questions. Jess Michaels and Teresa Helm, thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing your stories.